Namaste. Welcome to our meditation talk. And just wanted to get started with an understanding of meditation. So we're going to go through a couple of different things here. First is that what is easy meditation, particularly, is what I'm speaking on. And also, why is that effective? And what benefits could you get from an easy meditation practice? So I've got a few examples, give you a little bit of a takeaway for this, with understanding of what easy meditation is and why we practice easy meditation in the first place. So let's begin just understanding a little bit of the difference or the history even of meditation. And meditation traditionally is also the word dhyana, which means to be able to hold your attention for a period of time. And meditation often is something that is tricky for us because our attention we can't hold for very long. And one of the reasons that is because our mind isn't at ease. Our mind is, what I like to say, is at a dis-ease, very much not happy or distracted, or there's a lot in the mind that just can't seem to put one kind of attention to something without getting distracted or easily thinking about something else. And the easiest answer for that is that that's because there's too much on our mind. And how did that happen? How did so much get onto our mind? Why is this such a problem? And understanding then why an easy meditation for some people is difficult is because there's so much on the mind. Or any type of meditation is hard for us. So this word dhyana, to be able to hold our attention, is not something that's easily done, or we could also say something to being present in the moment. But most of the time, you're thinking about the past or you're thinking about the future, and you're not really present. And again, this is because the mind has lots on its mind. So how and why does this happen? And well, it happens because we take a lot in on each and every day. And what we can notice through that is, if we took a little bit of time, is that you have a lot going on because of how many things you do in one day. And doing one more meditation practice may seem like, well, I don't have time for that. And so therefore, how could I possibly do one more thing? And so we're in a bit of a conundrum here, because to solve the problem, we have to go beyond the problem. And that's usually one of the things we talk about. So we have to make time in order to get time, in a sense. And this is why easy meditation can be very effective. And so I want to talk about why if we take time out, how that actually makes things more efficient for you in life, helps you to make better choices. And so here we go. The easiest example I want to give is that easy meditation is like taking a deep breath. Or are you really trying to breathe at this moment? Doesn't breathing kind of happen on its own? Do you breathe the breath, or does the breath breathe you? And so easy meditation is very much the same kind of consideration, because most of the time you're just breathing and you're not aware. It just kind of happens. It's not something that you have to do. It's something that you need to do to stay alive, of course, but it's not something that you're trying to make happen. But if you put your attention on the breathing and your mind is at a place of ease at that time, you'll notice that the breath really happens itself, and it feels nice. It feels good. When we're not breathing, very well because we're feeling not at ease, or we might have some congestion or some other issues, then that does not feel very, very good at all. So first we have to understand most of the time that things are happening by themselves. There's nothing you have to try to do. It's another example is trying to fall asleep. That doesn't work. As soon as you try to fall asleep, you stay awake. So what we want to talk about then is these are two examples of what easy meditation could look like in a seated practice, and allowing ourselves to align to our natural selves, because that's what easy meditation means, meaning that you already have the natural intelligence that lives within you to be at ease, to be restful, to stay connected. And what's in between that possibility and our current state of mind is that the thoughts get in the way. So when often you try to do a meditation practice and you try really hard, then what you find is that you're unsuccessful because it does not turn out to be peaceful because you're trying. And when you try, then that's more thinking. And you already have a lot of thoughts. So having more thoughts is not going to help solve the problem. So this is where I said earlier that we have to go beyond the mind, or in this case, beyond our thinking, to allow ourselves to understand that, okay, I'm having these thoughts and my thoughts continue to be stimulated or activated because I keep doing more. So your mind never gets a rest in terms of the thinking. The thinking mind never stops. And so another issue that often people will say is, I can't stop thinking in meditation practice. So easy meditation is about accepting that thoughts are a part of the process. To be able to watch your own thoughts, and that makes it easy. If we allow ourselves to watch our thoughts and even connect to our natural state of our breath and accept our breathing, accept our thoughts, then this allows the mind to start to work things out. When you try to do those things, when you try to breathe the breath, or you try to control your mind, or you try to meditate in this sense, how could you possibly be really at ease? Because you're putting in more effort again. And you already have so much things that you're probably trying to do on any given day. So many things that you're thinking about, so many things that you take in through your eyes, your ears, through your mouth, what you eat, right? What you smell. All of the senses are completely inundated on any given day. So therefore, when we understand that easy meditation means to not just try and accept, but allow yourself to just be at rest within your own breath and your own mind, meaning to be able to just watch these things happen, then we will find that meditation becomes very easy. Most of the time, we're trying to make it something other than natural. You're trying to make it something that is not what's currently happening. So we get distracted, or we're trying to resist something from occurring that is completely happening at the moment. So if we allow ourselves to take a moment and just connect within ourselves, then we will find the eventuality is that meditation is not hard. Meditation is actually quite easy, and doesn't necessarily have to be something that you just have to do on with your eyes closed even. It's something that can occur outside in life while you're active, while you're participating. So often these are a lot of issues that we hear about is that I can't do a meditation practice. I have too many thoughts. It's hard. Well, we're here to say that it may be just a little shift of understanding that then it won't be hard and you will find benefits if you allow yourself a little bit of an understanding of how it works itself out. Let it work and process naturally. This is what happens in sleep. In sleep, things get worked out. It's not something you tried to do. It's not something that you made happen. It's something that when you had rest, then the natural healing that's happened or working things out allows a sense of ease. And then that ease gives us a sense of being able to breathe easy again, or having peace of mind or peace of body. Energy seems to be more harmonized or calmer. But without that sleep, and we've all probably had an experience where you hadn't had an easy sleep, then when you have an uneasy sleep, how that makes you feel. And what was happening when that happened? Probably too much other things happening to allow yourself to be easy and rested in your sleep. Now, why would we choose to practice an easy meditation if I'm sleeping well? Well, the question is, and the answer is to that, if I'm asleep, do you really know what's going on? Do you understand your mind when you fall asleep? So we can have a conclusion that if I sleep well, I feel good, because that's the way we observe. And then through that, over and over and over again, we understand, okay, well, this is proven because this is what our experience is. If I have a good sleep, I have an easy sleep, then I feel better the next day. But you don't know how and why that happened. But you know that if you have a good sleep, you're more effective the next day. So why would I choose to sit down and maybe close my eyes even for, a little bit? Well, that's because if you sit down for a few minutes, and it could be longer, could be 10 minutes, could be 20 minutes, with your eyes closed and you allow yourself to be at ease, then that allows you to work things out while you're in a waking state, your daytime activity, whatever that looks like for you, whatever shift you're on. So if I'm feeling then again more at ease, then I'm going to make different choices through the day after, because I've had some of those benefits of being at ease for this period of time. So it's going to have an effect in the choices that I make after that. That's what we can conclude. Another consideration is that because in sleep, you don't really know that you're sleeping. Often we don't have a lot of awareness. We don't then understand how these kind of processes work in our life. So we don't necessarily even understand the value of being at rest and doing a meditation practice in an easy, restful way, to understand how your mind works, how it, gets filled up constantly through our day. So we don't even understand or recognize how the mind or the thoughts even are really working, and how they're processing emotions, how they're processing aches and pains, stresses, all the things are there, and literally you have no space left in your mind. So your mind can't, in mind we're talking about thoughts, your thoughts are so preoccupied and it's working so hard that it has always a hard time, not an easy time, to just be connected in making choices in the moment. So this actually uses up a lot of energy, and actually it's like driving your car really fast all the time, no matter what kind of energy you're using on your car. If you continue to, stop and go, or, you're driving through the city or you're driving really fast, this is your mind. If we use that as the same example as your mind, you're driving it hard, you're driving it fast, you're stopping and going continuously, then you use up a lot of energy. So the mechanics of it is simple, that if you continue to always do that, you are always going to need something more on the outside to kind of get you going. And then we really don't understand, because the mind is almost in a reactive kind of state. You're reacting to this, you're reacting to that. So we're always kind of in a heightened state of reactions versus then making choices that are based on conscious choices, not just reactive choices. We could say more actionary choices versus reactionary choices or impulses. So if you're using up a lot of energy, then often you can get tired. So then you need more stimulation, and more stimulation also then just starts to burn out your nervous system. And eventually we may have a hard time falling asleep, or sleep becomes uneasy as well in addition. And then we're taking other things to help us fall asleep. So easy meditation can help us with sleep, can help us with being more connected into the choices that we're making. And ultimately, we can have more freedom in our mind. And most of us are searching for some kind of happiness or peace of mind, or, some quietness, something to feel that we need to re-energize or rejuvenate ourselves, so that then when we are participating in the things that we need to do, we can do them better and with more awareness, ideally. So awareness can be lacking because the mind is often overfilled with lots of different thoughts and feelings and aches or pains or stresses, whatever you want to call it. There is a lot on your mind, and therefore our mind is uneasy or in a state of disease. And this is where we do find that a lot of our diseases, not just psychological, but even will affect your body, because your body will also be in at an uneasy, unhappy place if your mind is always working hard. So how can we find ourselves to be more connected, more at ease, feeling a deeper sense of ourselves, or having a better, even conscious connection to how our body works, with our breathing, with our mind? Well, meditation has been around for a long time, and there's lots of practices out there, but most of the practices out there can be helpful to relax you, right? There's guided meditations, there's lots of wonderful breathing practices out there. There's lots of different ways that, you can put your attention on something, and, that could help you. You could look at a candle, or things that are peaceful on the outside or relaxing on the outside. But how about what's happening on the inside? So if we have still our attention something outside of ourselves, then that's still occupying space in your mind. I'm not saying that your mind isn't going to be easy, or you might feel relaxed, but ultimately you still have things that need to be worked out and digested. And so those practices are great, and then can be used as tools appropriately. But we also need to understand that if we're having something that is occupying our mind, then we might also be finding that we still have things that are on our mind that aren't being worked out, because we're still kind of distracted with something else. even if it's peaceful, even if it's something that's beautiful, it's still something on the outside that's occupying or distracting you from your own things within that are also desperately wanting to be digested. So an easy meditation then can look like something like closing your eyes and giving yourself a little bit of peace and quiet to just let things work themselves out through observation or allowing yourself to breathe easy. These are ways that can help you. So I wanted to leave you also with a sense of a little bit of a breathing practice. And when we use the word practice, I don't mean in trying so hard. I mean allowing yourself to be easy and not try so hard with your breathing. So at any moment, and we'll just do this with the eyes open for now, but if you just put your attention to your lungs, at this moment, right? And you don't really have to put a lot of effort into it, but just you can be still participating, right, in whatever activities you're doing. But, at the same time, while you're participating, take a step back or, allow your attention also to go down into the body, into your breath. And maybe even when I suggested this, you weren't really, a lot was still on your mind. So a lot of your energy was occupied on your mind. And so now that you're breathing and you still are, you're still doing what you need to do, it's like, oh, wow, this could be something else here. And it gives you maybe more of a broader perspective of as you as the person, but not just also giving all of your attention to your outer activity, giving some of that attention also to yourself. Now, you might notice that your breath is shallow or it's quick, or maybe it's even congested, and that's okay. So we want to also accept our breath of where it is. Now, you might even allow yourself to, after a couple of breaths, it might be quite natural for you to all of a sudden be wanting to take a belly breath or a deeper breath without even really having to try. Natural intelligence kind of comes to you and says, yeah, that a deeper breath might even feel better. And then you start taking a little bit of a deeper breath, but you don't have to try really hard to take a deep breath. And, deep breaths are great. I teach them, it's helpful, it's connected, helps you to give you something else to do. But even on this understanding of easy meditation, your breath is a meditation in itself. And it's not something you have to try really hard, especially if you're just going for a walk, you're driving, you're doing things that aren't requiring a lot of physical movement. You don't have to try to breathe hard, right? Be easy with your breath. Allow the natural intelligence of your breath to increase just by putting your attention to it. This is more of the meditative aspect than of something as like the breath. So there's lovely breathing techniques out there that can help as well. But eventually, whether you're doing breathing techniques or you're doing yoga poses or whatever activities you're doing, in yoga, the principle of all of those things that we're doing is to deepen our connection, which means meditation. But it's not something you have to try so hard to do. It's something that you just need to probably take a step back instead of taking a step forward, or just kind of being able to stand and then allow yourself to notice or broaden your attention. And then you'll notice that as you kind of do that, then you become more meditative. You become more aware of yourself. Now, if we find that this is difficult to do with our eyes open, and you're not doing something, like driving or going somewhere, then take a moment and close your eyes. And when you do that and you close your eyes, same kind of practice, just allow yourself to put your attention to your breath and notice your lungs, and then you might notice your belly. And it's not something you have to try to really force. In fact, what you might notice more times than not is that you will naturally start to develop a deeper breath, and you didn't have to put any effort into it. Now, if you do have physical congestion, there might be some conditions, like you have a deviated septum or you have some other kind of conditions, physical ailments, then, there might be a little bit more effort involved. But ultimately, the intelligence that lives within you, and if we don't have those physical, obstructions, then you would notice that this is something that can happen. This happens actually also in deep sleep, right? It's not something you try to do, but all of a sudden you're breathing very refined and very restful, and yet it's deep. How does that happen? It happens because the nervous system has become in a state of deeper rest. So we practice easy meditation through our day so that we still have a better understanding of that. And also then sleep doesn't have to work as hard. So you're, in a sense, you're kind of decompressing yourself, you're de-stressing yourself so that when you do sleep, you'll be sleeping more at ease more often than not. You'll be sleeping more regularly. And you might even start to notice yourself a little bit more. So if you just take time out once or twice a day, right, then you will start to understand these benefits. And that's the benefits of practicing meditation. And if you look at anything in nature, everything in nature takes a rest at some point. There's some kind of rest that's happening in the world, right? Whether it's the plants, whether it's the animals, there is always a restful time. Even when they're in activity, there's a time when the birds stop flying. Can't keep flying, right? There's a period of time to do that. And we practice this so that we're also increasing our sense of self, our sense of awareness, so that when we do live life, we can make better choices and we can feel better about ourselves, and we have a better understanding of how everything works. Otherwise, we're kind of asleep even when we're awake, as well. That's also sometimes a problem. And we didn't even know. So meditation is something that is wonderful and can be very easy. And if you need more guidance or understanding around these things, we're here always. We have meditation courses running all the time to help with those reminders to also be accountable or get yourself on track so that you build a habit. And it took me a while, a couple of years, even just as a police officer, to understand the benefits of doing a regular meditation practice. But without the support or, kind of continuance of teachers to remind me of how my mind works, or, the fears or the doubts that I might have in my mind, the voice that would say, oh, you don't need to do this right now. It's not that important. You have other things to do. I would be reminded continually of actually when I didn't do that, of how I was missing out on much more of my own life and having the benefits of that. So these types of things are also supportive and a reminder, because if we don't have those reminders on the outside, then we will find that we just can get kind of sucked back into a place where we're kind of stuck again, right? And so sometimes we just need a little bit of a little boost. That's why we go to other classes sometimes, right, for a little bit of help. But we can certainly always help each other for different departments of our life. And so this is a department of the life that is very important, because without mental hygiene, things can get pretty stinky in your mind, and which then that spreads into everything in our life. So anyways, that pretty much covers everything I wanted to share. And if you ever need kind of a scholarship or some kind of help, you can't afford anything, we do offer specialized ways of supporting anyone at any time. So now, never feel like that you can't reach out to us and without some kind of understanding of honoring. We want to honor people's budgets, but most importantly, we want you to connect and feel happy and healthy, particularly in your mind and your thinking, so that you're more at ease with everything that you do. And so we want you to be easy with your budget too. So we completely understand that. Yeah. So we'll finish this part, and we'll move on then to some questions and answers. So if you don't want to be right on the screen, then just type it in the chat, any kind of questions that you might have, and then we'll go from there. So thank you. Tim, did you?
Okay, so it's 9:33. I'm gonna start heading with my phone in the
Yeah, you're just echoing. So don't worry about it, Tim. If you just want to connect later, that's okay too. Or if you want to, I don't know if you have time to type something in the chat. But usually some other questions that also I see here, you know, why, how could that work during the day is often a question. Where, what's the best time, what's the best place are often questions I see here as well. And the best time is anytime, really, is always the answer. And that something is better than nothing. Another question around what's the length of time? 1 minute, 2 minutes. The most important thing is consistency. That is the thing that we really need to establish. Doesn't matter how long, as long as you're consistent. Once a day, twice a day is the best thing. So how can we just get a consistent practice? Usually, beginning of the day, end of the day is usually the best times for that, because that's when you're kind of slowing down or you haven't got started yet. All right, Tim. So do you have a question? Oh, hang on. All right. Well, can we meditate outside? Absolutely. You can also meditate outside sometimes. And again, you can meditate anywhere, right? An easy meditation can be practiced anywhere. Different benefits are gained from doing an outside practice versus an inside practice. Kind of as we mentioned before here, if your eyes are open and you're doing something, then that pulls your attention outside away from inside, kind of like a guided meditation. But doesn't mean those things aren't helpful and certainly can't, bring you a sense of ease. They can. But also sometimes we just feel like we're still not necessarily working out some other things that have already kind of been put in the register here. And so when we kind of close the eyes, or we kind of are in a quieter environment, it might not be comfortable for you to, let things kind of work out or kind of process, but ultimately that's what you're working with. And it's nothing to take too seriously, because it's just your mind trying to work out the information that it's been given. You know, a lot of past stuff, a lot of things that maybe have happened, maybe some things that you're still even worrying about in the future. But, we go through that anyways. And, if we're going through it, then, we can distract ourselves from it, but at some point we're still going to have to try and practice working it out. And if we keep letting that build up, it's like plaque. If you don't go to, the dentist, and you don't give yourself a little extra time, then the plaque keeps building up, and then eventually you're going to end up with a cavity, because it's, these things sit there for too long, and then they cause different problems. So we do have to go for a cleaning, or this is why you brush your teeth, twice a day, ideally, to keep good mental hygiene. And then sometimes you need the deeper cleaning, and the deeper cleaning is, sometimes when you take a course, or you do something that is going to help you to work things out even more with some extra help. So we need that extra help.
This rate today?
Pardon me?
We're on this rate today?
And
Never
Yes.
fucking know which place to go anymore.
I'm in this dressing room.
we also want to understand that meditation is something that is with us all the time. We are, in a sense, meditation, meaning that we're aware beings. So how can we allow ourselves a little bit of extra time to align with that natural sense of self, as an aware being, an aware person, somebody who can even recognize that they have thoughts? That is something that can be cultivated, and something that needs practice in terms of time to understand. Without any time with it, we don't really know what that even means or is. So part of an understanding also is not just to have experience, life experiences, but also to have some knowledge. So when knowledge and understanding knowledge and experience works together, then we get a deeper understanding. And so when we understand, because of experience and knowledge, that when you clean your teeth, you're better off for it. When you don't, that's a problem, right? Now we can talk about all the things that you're eating and all the things that you're consuming, but just leaving it at that, we have to keep things clean, no matter what we're eating, and no matter what you're drinking. You have to keep things clean, keep your mouth clean. So the same with our mind. No matter what we're taking in through the mind needs maintenance, needs to be cleaned. So an easy meditation can help with that as well. So having said that, then, doesn't look like we've got any further questions at this time. So I will just finally say that if you're...
Well, I'm in the dressing room. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so yeah, it's pretty noisy in here, but I can hear you just fine. So I can't think of any questions.
Okay.
I'm probably a culprit of having too much on my mind right now. Because I was driving.
Right.
I came in the dressing room and they're asking me what the lines are.
Sure.
Anyway, everything's under control. That was very good. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for
I'll just
joining,
leave
Chris.
this on until I'll just leave this on until you want to leave it. I can hear you perfectly, but you don't want to hear what's going on in the
Right,
background here.
exactly. Yeah, if you could mute it, that'd be great.
I'll mute it.
So yeah, even when you're occupied, you can still stay connected, right? So this is a great example here of this. And knowing that when we are living life, that life has lots of different things that it throws at us. And when that happens, then depending on the state of our mind, um, especially in a crisis, if you're in a better state of mind, then, the circumstances could turn out very differently based on how your state of mind was, how you're able to handle it. And this is also the benefit of practicing easy meditation and having a little extra awareness, we could say a little extra spidey sense, can go a long ways and mitigate a lot of things that we could not have to go through, or certainly we do have to go through things, how we go through them, maybe with a little bit more peace of mind or grace, versus then often if we're not in that graceful state of mind, that it could turn out to be a lot worse and maybe unnecessary. So there's a lot to be said for even prevention as well, with meditation, and a little bit can go a long ways. So if you're interested in more, check out our website at atthecore.ca. We have lots of meditation choices for you. Also lots of other learning courses, consultations, things that can help in any of this, food for thought, in a sense, or school for thoughts. We have all of those different types of options for you. And as mentioned earlier, you can certainly join any kind of class at any time. So please feel free to reach out to us. And I hope that this was very helpful for you. And even if you're just watching this for the first time, or you've seen this before, or you've met us before, don't hesitate to just message us, and we can talk to you a little bit about how to help, or send us an email, send us a text. All of our information's on our website at thecore.ca, and we look forward to hearing from you at some point. So, blessings and namaste.